everyone, kids. This is Dr. Callahan with week 14, Thursday. How are you guys doing? Go ahead and pause the video, answer the following 3 questions. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at our guided notes today. You can find this on the back of your week 14 Thursdays guided notes. I'm going to start off with this page right here, page 1, followed by page 2, and then your note today will be on page 3, and this is exactly what we're going to start off with. All right, so with that said, take a look at our breakdown for today, and let's get started with your notes. So turn over to this page. All right, so first what we're going to do is to memorize your perfect square. So you know that 1 square is the same thing as 1 times 1, which is 1. 2 squared is 2 times 2, which is 4. 3 squared is 3 times 3, which is 9. And then I want you guys to continue on with the rest of these all the way to 12, or 13 actually. 5 squared, 6 squared, 7 squared, 8 squared, 9 squared, 10 squared, 11 squared, 12 squared, 13 squared. Hopefully you know that 4 times 4 is 16, 5 squared is 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100, 121, 144, and 169. And similarly to this, I hope you also realize that if you do the square root of 36, which is considered to be a perfect square, that this is going to equal to 6, just like the square root of 121 is going to be 11. So then what do you do in case you do not have perfect squared? Like 20, 90, 32, 288. Well, we have to be a little bit more creative in our approach here. So I'm going to ask you, okay, what 2 numbers multiply together gives me 20? But one of them is perfect square. How about 4 and 5? You know that the square root of 4 is a 2. And then you just put 5 with it in the square root. Let's take a look at square root of 90. So what 2 numbers multiply together give me 90, but one of them is a perfect square? How about 9 and 10? You know that 9 gives me a 3, and you just keep the 10 in the square root. Square root of 32, what times what gives me 32? How about 4 and 8? And actually I can break this even further to a 4 and a 2. Square root of 4 is going to give me a 2. Square root of 4 is going to give me a 2, which is just a 4 square root 2. Now let's take a look at 288. So this one's a little bit more complicated. I'm going to ask to see if 4 goes into 88, which it does, which gives me a 72. But that 72 can be broken down with a 4 and an 18. And that 18 can be broken down to a 9 and a 2. Square root of 4 is a 2. Square root of 4 is a 2. Square root of 9 is a 3. And then just bring down your square root 2. So 4 times 3 is 12. Square root of 2 is then going to be your answer. All right, so now that I've done those, I want you guys to go ahead and practice with these ones here. So pause the video and give those a try. Okay, now let's go ahead and go on to this part right here. Well, now instead of simplifying it, we're going to add. If the square roots are exactly the same, then you just simply add and subtract. So 5 minus 8 is a negative 3, square root 2. B, same numbers. So 6 plus 2, 6x cubed, square root of 3. X and y are exactly the same. 5 plus 6 is 11 to the 5th power, xy. Now with D, it's a little bit different because you don't have the same numbers inside here. Here you have a cube root, which means these two you can add together. -5 cube root of x, but then just bring down the 7 with the square root of x. Okay. Now let's take a look at E. With E, I'm going to break this down quite a bit. So 75 is 25 times 3, which is the same thing as 5 square root 3. With this one, it's 2 times the square root of 4 times the square root of 3, which is going to be a 2 times 2 square root of 3, which is going to be a 4 square root 3. Minus 5 square root 3, can't really do anything there. Square root of 5 is going to give you a 5 square root 3. This is going to give you a 2 times 2 square root 3, which is a positive 4 square root 3. And then lastly, minus 5 square root 3. And the question is, are they equal to each other? Let's take a look. All of these have square root of 3, which means I can add 5 plus 4 minus 5, which is 4 square root 3. Do the same thing over here. These are all exactly the same square root. 5 plus 4 minus 5, 4 square root 3. So yes, they are equal to each other. All right, now let's go ahead and take a look at the next part here. Looking at part B. I'm going to take my 2x times my 4, which is 8x. And I'm going to take my 3 times my 2, which is going to give me a 6. X and x5 is x to the 6. Y and y is y squared. Now, I could take some of the x's out. I could take out the 6 to a 3, because I'm just dividing the 6 by 3, and the y, but the 6 stays inside. How many x's do you have? 4y square root 6 is my answer for B. So now I want you guys to try A. All right, let's go and take a look at D. So for D, you're going to do a FOIL. So first is going to be 2 square root x times square root x, which is going to be 2x, minus the outer, which is 2 square root x times 3, and that's 6 square root x. And then the inner is going to be on the inside, so that's just 2 square root x plus. And then, of course, you have last, so 2 and 3 is 6. Notice I can combine these two in between, which is a 4 square root x plus 6. Now, I want you guys to try C. Okay, so now that we've done this, I'm going to have you guys practice a little bit on a quizzes. So you're going to go ahead and go to joinmyquiz.com. And you are going to, actually give me a second, let me see if I can modify this. You're going to go to joinmyquiz.com and then type in the code 04555634, and then answer the following questions. There are 19 questions, and it's going to be on adding, subtracting, multiplying, square roots, and radicals. All right, if you're done with that, then your exit ticket for today is as follows. It's a reflection, and it gives you 4 questions like, how are you feeling? What happened? What did you do? And what can you do next time? So you can write this somewhere on your guided notes. All right, you guys, as always, I hope you have a wonderful week. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.